Oh girl, I love you so. No, never gonna let you go. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andy and today I'm going to be talking about my spiritual journey, how it started or really why it started, and kind of just where it's going. And I'm super excited to share this video with you guys. I feel like it's so important for other people, especially people who don't even know what a spiritual journey is. Like, I'm so excited to be able to share what that even means. Well, to me, I feel like to other people it might mean something different, but to me, what it means, and yeah, let's get into it. I started my spiritual journey, or like my journey into myself, whatever you want to call it. I started it probably, I want to say back in 2015. I kind of was going through this really bad time in a relationship that I was having, and I noticed just how awful I was in the relationship. Like, I was just not a good person, and I started to realize that all of my drinking that I was doing was affecting me. I was drinking super heavily at the time, and I just started to realize that these were things that were contributing to where my life was and where it was kind of going, and I just didn't really like what I was seeing. So I had this moment one day. I was out actually hiking with one of my friends, and we were at this waterfall, and I just looked around and I saw how beautiful everything was, and I saw water coming from this beautiful waterfall and just going down this stream, and just remembering how peaceful I felt in that moment. And I just thought, this is what I want. Like, I can feel this happiness whenever I want to. Like, and something just kind of hit me, like, it's yours. Like, happiness is always yours to have. And when I realized that, something kind of shifted in my brain. Obviously not like super fast or anything, it took a while, but something just kind of shifted that I can have happiness whenever I want, and I can choose it. And that was the best part for me. And so as time progressed, I kind of just stopped drinking and really stopped hanging out with the same people that I was hanging out with, and I really kind of just started to get it together. That was when I first really signed into a lease and started, you know, just kind of learning who I was. And that was like the first time that I ever really self-explored. I started reading self-help books. I went to Barnes & Noble and I started getting just a bunch of self-help books that I was super interested in. I'm also a very like metaphysical person, so at the same time I was also going through this whole battle with God in my head. I grew up Christian and Catholic. My dad was Catholic, my mom was Christian, so I kind of grew up in a duality automatically, to where it was like I was practicing one religion and practicing another, so I kind of already had two sides of the coin coming at me, and both of those, I feel like I never really got the spiritual essence that I was looking for. I never really felt the presence of God. When I would go to Calvary, which is just a Christian church here in Albuquerque, I used to feel kind of that feeling when people would sing and things like that, but after we would leave and we would go into like our little Sunday school classes and stuff, I just felt so secluded. I feel like that was like a really big shift for me as well, because you know, I was going through a time where I wasn't really sure about my sexual orientation, and I remember how I just didn't feel accepted in a church, and so that was very hard for me. That was one of the things that I was like, okay, the God that made me and the God that made everybody else would not have made us all so different if he was gonna sit there and be like, this is how it is. I just felt like religion in the way that it's being presented now was just really hard for me to understand, and it was really hard for me to find God in everything like the Bible was saying. That was really hard for me, so I started looking at different books. I'm actually going to share a few of those books with you guys today, and they really just kind of started helping me just figure out mindfulness. I was at this point just kind of not really looking into religion at all, and so I just started looking for things to help myself. I knew that I wasn't, you know, okay. I knew that I couldn't really have this relationship with a higher power, so I thought, why not have a relationship with myself? So I kind of started doing some digging. I was reading a lot of mindfulness books, a lot of meditation books, and that's kind of how it started. I kind of just started meditating, not really on a daily basis, but I would kind of find like moments where I could sit down for 5 to 10 minutes, because you know, at first when you first start, you're like, I don't have time to sit down for 5 minutes to think about nothing for 5 minutes. Like, I don't have the time. At first it's just kind of a time thing. It's your ego kind of being like, you don't have time to do this. But I had time to sit there and do numerous things throughout the day that really didn't benefit myself, but I didn't have 5 minutes to sit for myself. So that was one thing that I really wanted to start putting more effort towards, was just giving myself a little bit of effort. And it was kind of hard for me at first to meditate. I didn't really know what I was trying to do. So when I first started, I started with some guided meditations that really helped me. I feel like for whatever reason, I was able to really pull myself into that state, that higher state of being, or like just a calm state. For whatever reason, it was super easy for me. And when I learned that as I was going through these guided meditations, I was like, okay, well, something in me is very powerful. I felt like I could tune in really well to myself, and I could let all of the exterior kind of go away really fast, especially for somebody who was just a beginning meditator. So that was really interesting to me. And then again, those self-help books just really helped me start to just question my own thoughts. And I noticed that the thoughts towards myself, because I remember one book specifically told me, you know, like, your thoughts create your reality. Like, how you feel about yourself, how you see other things, how you perceive like your day-to-day world has a lot to do with how you think about yourself. And well, I started to think, okay, well, how do I think about myself? And for some reason, I just couldn't find a lot of good things that I thought about myself. I mean, they were just kind of more surface level, like, I like my hair. I just wasn't comfortable with myself, so I couldn't really think of things that I liked. And in one of the books, an exercise said to look into the mirror every day and to start telling yourself things that you like about yourself. And that really helped me, like, immensely. I can't even describe to you guys how much that helped me, because I started to look into the mirror, and at first it was just like the little things, like, I like my freckles, I like, you know, my brown eyes, I like this, I like that. But after a few months of doing it, and after really starting to kind of see like a shift within myself, I thought about things on such a deep level. And I like now when I do it, you know, 2 years later, I can think about things that are just so deep. Like, I like how passionate I am about people. I like how my willingness to heal puts me in these positions for myself that I'm constantly learning and constantly growing. And you know, it's just a totally different relationship almost that I have with myself. And it was that one exercise, that one step that I took that was like, hey, picture some things that are great about yourself, stop hating yourself, and just start to love yourself. And as I did that, it helped me be able to tell other people things that I loved about them too. So not only was my happiness and me telling myself things good for me, but it was good for other people, because I was able to walk down the street and be like, hey you, I love your outfit, I love what you're wearing, you look hot. Making people feel the way that I felt, that it was a new sense of being almost. And so I was so excited about it, and I started doing that. And through all of that, I just kind of started to learn about myself. And I started taking moments into myself where I really learned who I was. And it went even deeper. Probably this last year, 2016, was one of my biggest years for just self-improvement and self-development. I started looking into numerous things that I guess really aren't like the norm that people look into. I find that when I try and talk to people about these certain topics, it's not really something that a lot of people look into. So I thought it was really cool that I was learning new things that not everybody was really into. And in the self-help section, they kind of have like different books for just exploring like yourself in the bigger picture. And I'm talking astrology. I started looking into astrology. I started looking into what it meant. I have a friend that's super into it, and she started teaching me all of these super cool things about myself and gave me a way to look at my birth chart. And I started to learn about myself in every different aspect. It kind of just breaks down the characteristics of yourself and through each of those aspects, which is really cool. And that was another thing that brought me super into myself. And I just started learning just why I was the way that I was. And I didn't know that these little things could contribute to your actual personality and your genetic makeup, essentially. And so I thought that that was so interesting. All of the things that I was finding on my spiritual journey, I feel like have really helped me get to the goal that I wanted, and that was just to love myself and to embrace my versatility and to stop caring so much about what people thought, because that was probably one of my biggest issues, was caring about what people thought about me. And you know, the minute that I stopped hanging out with some of the people that I was hanging out with, and I noticed that, you know, they weren't really who I wanted to be hanging out with anymore, it took a lot, but I had to let go of a lot of people and a lot of things to realize that, you know, I'm constantly growing, and if I'm trying to get somewhere that nobody else is trying to be, that's okay. That's totally fine. Everybody is going on their own journey at their own pace, and for me, I'm personally here to gain more knowledge about myself and to just be. I'm finally learning how to just be and to let life show itself to me. And it all started with looking into myself. It all started with trusting my own self, trusting my own intuition, trusting my decisions. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I've learned, is just how important it is to know yourself inside and out. And the more that you know about yourself inside, the more that you're gonna know about the exterior world. I wanted to show you guys actually one of my favorite books that really helped me. Let me grab it. I totally can't find the book that I was gonna show you guys on mindfulness because I'm pretty sure that I gave it away. I love to give books away because I feel like words are so powerful and books totally stick with you. But I do have a few other ones that really helped me when I first started my journey. When I was trying to learn how to meditate, I had no idea how. So I got this book from Urban Outfitters. It's just called You Can Master Meditation. It was super good. I really liked that one. And then, like I said, I was kind of going through like a whole confusion with my religion thing, and I had kind of started looking into Buddhism, and my mom kind of got really mad at me because it was a different religion, obviously, and she didn't really understand what I was doing. And so I got this book, and it's called Living Buddha, Living Christ. I don't know if you can see that. Living Buddha, Living Christ. Such a good book. It relates Buddhism and Christianity, and I thought it was super cool. And it kind of just like helped me even further. And then something else that really helped me was this past year I took a world religions class, and that was like game changer for me because it really showed me that all religions basically just say the same thing. And I thought that that was really cool, and I can now take bits and pieces that I've learned from every religion and just kind of put them into my own spiritual practice. And another thing that I do obviously for my spiritual practice, which not everybody has to do, but it's yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, so it kind of relates. But that's definitely where I get a lot of my spiritual insight from as well. And definitely meditating, just taking 5 to 10 minutes for yourself during the day to just kind of breathe and just relax and get things off of your mind and just really just take some time for yourself. That's really all it is. And a spiritual journey to me is just the continuation of learning yourself and learning yourself in different perspectives and through different situations that you put yourself in. It's really not anything big. It's not like some church that you have to go to or something that you have to do. It's literally just looking into yourself and experiencing life and taking in the beauty of it. That's really what God is, or the essence of God, is to just be and to just look at the world around you and appreciate it, and, you know, appreciate the clouds passing by, appreciate nature, appreciate what's true. And I feel like we get so caught up in like the materialistic world sometimes that we forget that just sitting and watching a waterfall can actually be pretty peaceful and pretty healing. So that's kind of all I wanted to really say about my journey. And where it's kind of going, I don't know. I'm getting more into healing, and I eventually want to do something with that and eventually help people by sharing my experience and hopefully learning a little bit more. I'm super excited to go through this Reiki training. I'm actually going through it this weekend, and I'm excited to help heal other people. I'm excited to show them that they can heal themselves, and that, you know, you don't have to rely on doctors and you don't have to rely on other people, that you can truly just rely on yourself for your healing. And I think that that's pretty dope. So I'm super excited, and I'm excited to share that with you guys. So stay tuned for next time. I don't really know what it's going to be or where it's going, but thank you guys for watching.